Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Dinosaurs led by Lord Shaftesbury facing off against the Skaven, who shall be helmed by B6 here on the Womb of Sorrow. It's going to be a big old scary Slaanesh map. Now, looking at the Dino army, let's go ahead and break it down. It's going to be skirmishers in the front. Triple skink skirmisher. Honestly, they're so cheap at their price point that it's kind of just worth it to have them just to get on the objectives quickly. But in this matchup, they can shoot at Skaven skirmishers, any sort of Rat Ogre equivalents, right? They do have some targets. On the other side, it's going to be more skink skirmishers, feral cold ones, mainly a chaff-centric front line. So no Saurus, not wanting to yield high value to Skaven Globadiers most likely. We got a slant of fire magic, so we got the orange toad here. You see, look at those eyes, dude. This guy means business. But yeah, Burning Head, very, very good against Skaven for cooking mass amounts of lightly armored troops. And what is it with coatls, man? I don't know if it's the same lizard players I'm watching like over and over, but we have been seeing so many coatls lately. And I mean, it is a terror-causing monster with an extremely weird hitbox that can be hard to hit, so there is something to that, I think. Now for Chad B6 on this side, it is going to be Tretch Craven Tail. Gotta love it. Really difficult to kill by. It's like the Walmart We Have Sigmund at Home character. Super high melee defense at 70. And just lives. He just kind of doesn't break, and, well, he can break, of course, but he doesn't die easily, which then means the Skaven army isn't going to be suffering leadership penalties. Rest of the build is going to be Globadiers, so we got Poison Winds backed up by the Natty Bubo Sharpshooters here on the far side, Ogres, and, man, I think that is going to be all she wrote for the Skaven. Tretch in the middle, able to grab objective 2 maybe, although if some of the skinks move up, they are going to outweigh him there, and it looks like that's going to be the case. So Lord Shaftesbury does get objectives 1 and objectives 3, and I don't think the objectives are directly lined up. That's kind of hard to tell, actually. Is it like right across the middle? Yeah, it might be actually an It's a style, very even map there. I think that's the case, but Tretch is eating some of those shots, barely taking any damage, I guess wasting the ammo of those units. And now the Natty Bubo Sharpshooters going to be setting up shop in the middle, ripping their little rat guns downtown into the old skinks. And the skinks are going to be getting it. So skink skirmisher here is at 4,000 HP and dropping, while the rats now advance over towards objective 1 as well. So Skaven going to be playing the 2 objective game. You know, obviously playing all 3 objectives can be tricky unless you're playing a really defensive gunline faction or somebody who you know is going to have cannons and invest in defensive positions. The Lizard army is aggressive-ish. You know, it has a lot of wide skinks. We do have some feral cold ones. And a cheap Bastillodon coming in, a feral one. Not a bad idea. You know, for 650, it's a terror-causing unit, and it's just like, you just kind of forget about it and just hope it terror routes things, right? Nice skink skirmishing here from Lord Shaftesbury on the outside, as we do see the Ogres actually getting on top of some of the skink skirmishers. So slight blunderous play coming in here for the Dinos, letting their very quick unit get caught by these Ogres. But, you know, the Bloodlust overtook them. They wanted to look the rats in the eyes as they shot them with the blow darts, and the rest is history. All right, so Globadiers now throwing at the Coatl, and yeah, it's not so great. I mean, it's designed to kill infantry bricks, so this is a really nice usage of the Coatl. So what the Skaven are going to want to do here is get like their sharpshooters on them, and they're doing that right now, or call out like Eshin Triads or something that has, you know, solid anti-large and can actually fend off the Coatl. Because Coatls actually do have really good armor. They have 70 armor, which is, you know, pretty surprising for what it is. It's like a giant feathered beast thing. Middle objective owned by the Skaven. Lizards do have the outside. We see a little bit of sneakiness as some feral cold ones are waiting to probably dive on top of the poison wind globes right here. And now we get the warp lightning cannon being called out. So that's a good call. Burning Head here, not going to do too much because people often forget that poison wind globadiers guys, they have 100 freaking armor. They're wearing like Space Marine, you know, ceramite suits. Those guys are ready to go. But Warp Lightning Cannon getting value, forcing back the Coatl. Clever Girl's moving back here as well. If B6 were to lose this artillery piece to a single feral cold one, that'd be really, really rough. And now we do see the Howling Warp Gale from the Warlock Engineer. Very nice cast there. That's going to be locking down the Coatl while it's being shot by the sniper rifles on the other side. And overall, a great pick. Getting an expensive unit off the Lizardmen early, it's going to be big. But we'll see if it actually breaks. It's at 0 leadership, it's broken, but is it going to run off the map? That is a question. Now, Skaven, do they have anything to call in here? They have 600 resources. Yeah, you definitely don't want to let this Warp Lightning Cannon die to a cheap unit like that. That would hurt. But, I mean, if the Lizards are able to recoup their losses of the Coatl by getting the Warp Lightning Cannon, that's a huge win for them. Now, back in the middle, Globadiers are roasting and, you know, killing some of their fellow Skaven slaves. You know, probably had a grudge against them in the old war in there. And what are they going to continue on after? Yeah, just going to be going after the old Chameleon Stalkers here. Chameleon Stalkers are okay against Skaven. They can creep up on them and definitely shock positions down where they have, like, weaker infantry. Globadier is still very much online here. A little bit of a blunder by B6. So you see how B6 has 3 weapon teams stacked on top of each other. They should be a little bit staggered out so they can all be functional and not obfuscated by one another. But Warp Lightning Cannon looks like it is actually stabilized. So that's a big play, but you don't want to leave it already. The Ogres look like they're leaving. Oh, they might have thought it was broken. No, B6 does notice and leaves the Ogres to kind of clean that up. Now let's look at the objective situation. Objective number 3 for Lizards. Objective 2 is in Flux, but owned by Skaven. Objective 1 is owned by the Lizards as well. And we see a big onslaught of Lizardmen units moving in. A lot of Feral Cold Ones, Skink Skirmishers on the other side. And will they be able to hold here? Find out on today's episode of Dragon Ball Z. Burning Head on the other side, is it going to be a significant one? Not bad. Does roast some Skaven slaves, and kind of unfortunately for them, misses the Clan Rats. But the Clan Rats with their spears should be able to fight off a Bastillodon, or at least hold it kind of in place and do some good damage. 84 value on the Feral Bastillodon, extremely dreaded, up to 90 right now. All right, so it very much looks like a game where the Lizardmen are going to stuff the Skaven back, and the Skaven are going to have to make a desperate last attempt at the objectives. I'm already getting those vibes a little bit here. Globadiers throw in, and that will hurt. Globadiers are such a good counter against any infantry unit. I mean, anything. Except, I don't know how they do. Probably not so good against Wrathmongers, because I'm pretty sure the damage is like based on a model basis, so the higher model count, the better they are. But I'd have to look into it. But yeah, Tretch is doing a good job valiantly holding that middle objective. Skaven are up in value, 4.7 against 2.6. And have the Warp Lightning Cannons been stabilized? They have. That's quite nice. So now you can shoot Cold One Riders, you can shoot against the Battletoad here. And yeah, it looks like they're going to be going after this. But this Slaanesh map has these weird kind of like elevations here, which actually I think is kind of cool. But it actually, yeah, oh, look at the Battletoad. He's very clever. I mean, they say Slan are intelligent, clever creatures. So yeah, he's using the terrain to his advantage there. Lizards are still trying to dive the backfield. You know, that's the thing. When you break like Lizardmen units, like all these little gremlin, like Skink cohorts and Feral Cold Ones, you really got to make sure you finish the job, because oftentimes they'll just like run and route here if you don't chase them off the map. And then they're going to come back and compromise your weapons teams and your various pieces like that. Skaven, though, are very behind on points. We do see them at 600 for the Lizardmen, and for the Skaven, it's going to be 248. So it is going, and objective number 2 here is going to be, wow, still held by Skaven, but is that going to stay on Skaven hands? Oh, that's very clutch. Like, little things like this can make all the difference. The Warp Lightning Cannon in the back, taken offline, I think. Must be dead right now. A couple Ogres are going to, farm for it. They'll get the Bastillodon, they'll take these guys down. But yeah, the Warp Lightning Cannon is officially offline. So that's a big loss. Having that Warp Lightning Cannon to pressure the Slan and the other bigger threats would have been good. Man, Lizard's probably really sad they didn't take this objective. And that can happen in Domination. That's definitely something that could be improved by CA as the UI. Sometimes it's really hard to tell if it's like filled up to the max. You legit have to mouse over it to see. By the way, this was a semifinal in a recent tournament, so this is certainly a competitive game here. All right, Eshin Triads are steady, but taking a bad fight. They are an anti-large unit with not the best melee defense, and they're fighting a more dedicated infantry unit here in the Red-Crested Skinks. And the numbers are not favoring them, so the Skinks are going to take them to Pound Town. Ogre's moving to the other side, and the Skaven have somehow managed to hold on. Somehow the Palpus Skaven have returned, but they did hold on to the middle objective. Outside looks like it's under threat by Skaven as well, but nope, they're going to be chasing off these Golden Riders, which isn't a bad idea. Get them off the battlefield, move the Night Runners over towards objective 1, and start threatening that, right? Yeah, because Lizards are kind of looking a little bit haggard on the field right now as well. It is, let's see. So they have Skinks and a couple cavalry on the periphery. Unsummons going down, housekeeping for both players. Asara Spear is on its way to the middle, but if B6 is paying attention, that should be an easy hard counter. Even a Globadier with like half combat capacity is going to be able to melt those Asara Spears and really give them the dirty. So I think that will be it. All right. Natty Bubo shut down, though. Little nice grabs like this, using these Feral Cold Ones with their relatively decent speed at 70, which is faster than Ogres, to hunt down the weapons teams has been really, really nice this game, honestly. Skaven should be able to have a chance at getting objective number 1 back if they move their units on it, the Night Runners and the Eshin Triads. Tretch over there as well. Middle is owned by Skaven. Outside being threatened by Skaven as well. Kind of looks like Skaven are maybe clawing their little rat claws back into the game, but B6 really needs to pay super tight attention to the objectives. Like moving off the objective here, I think is a mistake. Get these guys here, grab that, secure it. Consolidate your future because you're ahead right now. So yeah, you gotta just do it sometimes, right? Objective 1 being taken by Skaven. Yes, very nice. Tretch Craventail, the most Giga Chad of all Skaven characters. He has, how like in the campaign for the game, when you're loading in, it has like a little intro screen for the characters. Tretch by far has the best one. It's so freaking good. But that objective 1 is going to be going to the old Skaven. Objective 2 for Skaven as well. And it does look like the outside is going to be taken. Globadiers in position to cackle. Warlock Engineer with his little Mortis engine. Did he bring it? I don't think so. But they are able to get some nice shots, and there they are. All right, so the Mortis engine is going to be getting in there. Blasting away. Sara Spear is taking huge casualties, and if B6 just kites with this, I mean, they're going to do quite well. That is for sure. And plus, there's a bit of a Skaven renaissance in the backfield. There's some Skaven units that have been fighting back here and, clearing out the Lizardman threat. And once they advance up, it's going to be quite strong. All right, so we're going to get semi-elite spears versus air quotes elite spears here in the Storm Vermin. So the Storm Vermin are going to be shambling to the middle. They're 34 movement speed, which for a heavy infantry unit is pretty quick. And yeah, Skaven have now gotten the points, and as it currently stands, Skaven would win on just 2 objectives. So if they can just maintain the status quo for the rest of the game, then they'll win. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. Battletoads coming in, and I mean, as weird as it is to say, The Battletoad is going to fall off this game, whereas Tretch Graventail is not. I mean, not that Tretch is a carry or anything, but he's going to be perpetually generating value with his combat, whereas the Slan, I mean, kind of can, but not to the same extent that Tretch can. Ogres and Gutter Runners out here. Lizards look like they have the tools to maybe reclaim Objective 3. This is turning into a super close game, by the way. Looking really, really tight. But yeah, they got enough. They got these guys. They got cohorts coming in. And the Rats really only have an Ogre unit. Some Doom players here trying to chew through the Feral Cold Ones. But this is a really nice tech by Shaftesbury, having the Feral Cold Ones to block up the Doom players, because they're just a generalist armor-piercing unit, and they'll be really good against armored chariots, which is exactly what a Doom player is. So that's a brilliant play by the Shaft. Back in the middle, Shaft also gets Spears into Ogres, another nice play right there. Skaven do consolidate and secure Objective 1, and it looks like the Lizards somehow were able to resecure the other 2 points. So Lizards did get this one. So Skaven are going to have to just get the middle, really. Just like move all their Storm Vermin, all their assets onto the middle, get that, and hope that they're still not in a triple cap situation. I don't think they are. Burning Head isn't super good against Storm Vermin. In armored units in general, it's a very good spell against squishy units like State Troopers and Clan Rats, but anything that wields a fair amount of armor is going to be very, very resilient against that. Moving over, Tretch and Clan Rat Spears and Ogres. I'm always one who struggles with the mental math of, will I win with this amount of points? I have to use those kind of, what's the term for like a mental shortcut? It's, God, what is it? Oh, man, a heuristic. Yeah, that's the term. I think that's right. Maybe someone who's more educated in chat can let me know. But over towards Objective 2, I would say, okay, if I reach 1250 before they reach 1,000, if it's more than doubler, essentially, right? Really nice banishment from Shaftesbury there. That was a beauty. That's going to be hitting right in the Storm Vermin and the Clan Rats, right in the epicenter, and taking down a lot of health off them. But that point is going to be going to the Skaven. A big thing here is going to make sure, as a Skaven player, that you secure Objective 1. And you can already see that Shaftesbury, the gears are turning as Shaftesbury actually pulls a value lead. So Chameleon Stalkers could move towards Objective 1. Although the Skaven army does look bigger on the battlefield, the damage tracker is terrible at tracking things, honestly. It's buggy, it misses things. It does an okay job. You get the basics, but it'd be really nice if it was revamped a little bit. All right, Poison Wing Globes waddling on up. Skaven holding on, Tretch, Chad Tail, battling some cohorts here. And now we do see a bit of a vanguard of Lizards, Feral Cold Ones and Chameleon Stalkers heading towards this point. And some Storm Vermin may be thinking about moving over there. So, ooh, this is a tight one, guys. Really, really close. More Feral Cold Ones are going to be the Collins. Obviously, Desperation and Mobility are big here. Clan Rat Spears, as well as Night Runners, going to be cruising up for a bruising. Skaven do have their double cap here, so I think they're doing all right. They're in a comfortable position here. As long as they can hold, I think they're going to be all right. Although, I don't know. Actually, I think as it stands, maybe the Lizards would win on just one, because they fell behind pretty hard there in points. And it was only by the hair of their chinny chin chin they would win on the double cap before, and then they lost it for like a couple minute or two, right, which was too much. So Skaven might need to do it. We'll have to see. All right, advancing up. So basically, yeah, if he reaches 1250 before his opponent reaches 1,000, that's like a really good metric by which you can understand the triple cap situation. There's obviously other ways of doing it, but that's really like in the heat of a game when it's really sweaty and you're microing. Like sometimes you have to do those quick connections other than thinking hard about it. Globadiers melting those poor red crested skinks. They're going to be banished back to the jungles of Lustria from whence they came. And it looks like the Stalkers were ambushed here. A couple Sar Spears going to be heading back to the middle. Skaven do have their Rat Paws on this point. And overall, Skaven, I believe, are going to need a triple cap. Yes, I believe so. Ogres moving back here. Tretch Graventail. Burning Head actually friendly fires some of the Chameleon Stalkers. So the Slan, waving his little toad hand. He's like, my bad, homies. I'll get you next time. And Globes and Night Runners. They are pretty good at pushing. The Night Runners will be able to skirmish off the lightly armored skinks, who, of course, do not have much in the way of missile resist. They do have some Fizz Res built in, I believe. It's very little, but every little bit counts. And it looks like this Skaven do know, and they're going to be playing all the objectives. Okay, I was right. My math wasn't terrible. So Skaven do need to get all 3 objectives, which is going to be hard. The Lizards are one of the better factions at the game at like Gremlin split pushes because of how fast their capture weight units are. Skink cohorts have full 5 capture weight, and they only cost, what, 300-400, depending on which variant you bring. So getting them with 48 movement speed, it's kind of like Ogre Kingdoms. Like you might think you have Ogre Kingdoms on lock, and then they save up 1,500, call out 3 bulls, and suddenly 15 capture weight with 50 movement speed is like going balls deep towards the objective, right? The Globes are going to be very essential here. They're going to be excellent at knocking off the Sar Spears. In the middle, though, that is going to be 5, 10, and maybe 12 capture weight versus the Skaven, who have like absolutely nothing here. So Skaven going to need to be able to get some units in there. Looks like on the side, the little rat people are going to consolidate. Tretch going to go there. And Skaven know they're playing the long game. Lizards are definitely behind on the field. The Battletoad kind of has fallen off. I do not think they have any Winds of Magic left. I would say at this point probably not much. But Burning Heads, okay, wow, holy shit, that must be the last one, because he's got a lot of Burning Heads. He just wanted to make me eat my words there. The Toad was like, how dare you talk shit? I'm always ready to go, dude. That Toad is ready to blast. Clan Rat Spears, Globadiers, getting the job done. Battletoad hanging on to the point. Feral Cold Ones could maybe take this game back in their hand. if the or the Coldland Spear Riders, oh, never mind. Okay, if these two Coldland Riders annihilate the Globadiers and the Night Runners here, then Lizards might be able to hang on to that point, right? In the middle, it was being threatened by the Lizards, but then the Skaven were able to get some Storm Vermin up here. So the Rats of the Council have arrived. They're going to be getting their old razzle-dazzle shanks in there and getting it done. All right, the big bonketing does continue, so pretty okay for Skaven, assuming they just move like a Flayer into the side here. Flayers are going to be excellent against these units, so they're moving in, rolling, rolling, rolling. Here comes the Limp Bizkit Rats. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Yeah, pretty nice stuff right there. So cleaving through those skinks, definitely going to be precarious for their leadership. Skaven are pretty firm on Objective 1 and Objective 2, and here the Lizards, with their Cavalry Corps, were actually able to do some really nice work. Clan Rat Spears at 11 leadership, trading well into these, and a very rare late-game call-in of a Warp Lightning Cannon, which is risky. You know, it's a lot of gold that isn't threatening capture pressure, so it's a tricky one. This map does also have slightly smaller objectives, so it can be harder. Oh my god! I was so wrong about the magic. I think that clutches it. Because Skaven were in the process of stabilizing this, but then that Burning Head just cooks them, and they're just going to be having a terrible time. I think that's it, right? I don't think there's any way B6 can get this, although they still do have a lot of units here. We got Clan Rats, we got Night Runners, Tretch Craventail is here as well. And, all right, guys, it's on. And that's going to be a Lizard victory. Fun game. Really cool back and forth match. We got to see Tretch, we got to see a Coatl. I mean, B6 was an absolute beast. Punishing with the Jezzails and the Warp Lightning Cannon until they got compromised. And Shaftesbury had some of the most god-tier burning heads in the late game I've seen. Really good play with the Feral Cold ones as well and the Spear Riders in the fourth quarter. So incredibly fun match. I hope you guys enjoyed that one as much as I did. Well played, these mighty champions. And we'll be back with more replays soon.